All right. At home in my apartment, chilling, and decided to do my day 4 of my semen retention journey and talk about some of the stuff that I've been learning. I've been doing a lot of research. Obviously, I know these things from practical application, but sometimes you have to like go back to the drawing board and you have to get those truths again or add depth to those truths so that you can continue on in your journey. And so I was doing a lot of research about the state that a man is in after ejaculation, the importance of why a man typically has drastic changes when he doesn't ejaculate. And I seen that in my own life. I seen my voice get deeper. I seen my eyes glow. I seen me have an abundance of energy to do various things like working out for much longer, even though I always kind of worked out for a very long time, but I wouldn't have to do so much on the back end to recover from those workouts. And it felt like a flow state. So I was doing some research on that and also doing some research on fasting and food because what I couldn't never really understand is how would I fast for 20 hours, right? And I would feel like I had more energy at the end of the 20 hours or coming up like 16, 17 hours. And then I would go train for 2 hours and I would feel better. And basically, what the research is saying is that the body makes the adjustments for survival. The body makes these adjustments, right? It may make you stronger, make you preserve muscle, make you more attractive, make you all of these different things simply because the body wants to survive. So it feels like it has to become better because if you get that satiation of food and sex, then you're already telling yourself you made it, right? You've done everything that you need to do, right? You at the end of the journey, right? Where you have a wife and you're ready to make babies, right? But we can hijack that and twist that up through things like semen retention and um, through things like semen retention, fasting, and various other things by being in some form of deficit sometimes brings you to abundance, right? Because you make things more difficult, which makes your body makes all of these adjustments. Same thing with like calisthenics for me. When I first started doing body weight training, and this was way back in the day around like 2019. And during that time, I was trying to be a bodybuilder, and I wasn't lifting any weights or anything. I was just doing high reps, slow, pump and fluff, pull ups, push ups, dips, squats, lunges, bridges. And I was just doing that in a circle, and I had got hugely big, way bigger, way stronger than I had ever gotten from weights. And why did I feel like I got way bigger than I got with weights? Because of a couple things. Number one, I simplified my options. See, when you have simple options and you don't have the complexity of options, you have to use what's in front of you. And number two, I was in survival mode. I never knew if it was enough or if it wasn't enough when I was training. So I would continuously add reps and add sets because I couldn't really tell if it was enough because it was body weight training, right? And the body responds to it differently. And then also because it's survival, right? When you only have You ever like growing up, like anybody that know growing up poor, like sometimes them survival meals, those like those hard times at the end of the month, or when the chips is low, when mom chips is low and all that, like you sometimes prepared some of the best meals and had some of the best times in the brokest times. Because when you broke and you know everything is broken down, it seems like you have to go back to the fundamentals and the basics. You don't have time for the antics. You don't have time for the complexity of options. Oh, what should I get? Should I get some steak? Should I get some burgers? You know, thinking back to my youth, like, oh, should I get some steaks? Should I get some burgers? Should I get some fried chicken? Should I get this? Should I get some shrimp? Should I get some lobster? You know what I'm saying? Should I get some crab legs? Because I got so many options and I'm just running around trying to utilize all these resources. Whereas if it's simplified, you only got these couple things. Now you got to be creative. Now you got to use your brain. Now you got to put stuff together. I think that's kind of like how semen retention and fasting kind of do. Because I know for me, I can't speak for nobody else, but my favorite things is food and sex. You know, and once I got those comforts, the craving and the desire to push forward and to go harder is almost non-existent. It's almost null and void for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm totally ready to just I did it. I made it. You know what I'm saying? I got some food. I got some nookie. I'm good to go. We good to go. I don't need to do nothing else. You know what I'm saying? And that depletes a man's ambition. That depletes a man's motivation. That depletes a man's drive, a man's focus. And that's why fasting and semen retention has been so effective for me personally. Because when you're hungry, right, you're in a constant state, predatorial state, right, for food. You hunt and look and searching. So everything has to be efficient, sharper, smoother, readier, more prepared. You on go. You gotta eat. You know what I'm saying? Like when they say Mayweather, he trains like he's broke. He trains like a broke. That's a paradigm and a metaphor for what you're doing with semen retention. When you ain't getting no yams, right? When you ain't getting no cheeks, right? When you rejecting adult material, whatever the case may be, like you got to get stronger. You got to get smarter. You got to get sharper. You got to hustle more. You got to grind more. And spiritually, you have to become more wiser and more enlightened, right? You have to awaken that warrior, awaken them positive vibes, you know, be powered up. You have to be loyal to your ambitions and you have to manifest that abundance, right? And so this is why semen retention is so powerful, you know. And on day 4, I just was doing a lot of research, you know, last night at work, really trying to make sense of not just semen retention, but also just fasting, like how being in deficits, how have I been able to preserve muscle while not eating? Like why? And it still blows my mind too. Like I still kind of don't understand how you know, because we've been taught this growing up, like how inwardly, what we have inwardly is what matters the most. And you just can't fake energy. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't fake energy. That was another thing that I got from this as well. Cause like we've been taught the money, the cars and clothes, and there's nothing wrong with that. The material things, you know, the numbers, how many women you were sleeping with, we've been groomed and told that these are like the ideal things that we need. And there's nothing wrong with that. But we've never been told like what we have internally is what makes us valuable. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been in positions where I've had a lot of stuff, no stuff. And I've also had been in positions where I had a little stuff, but I had this internal stuff that I'm building now, and I've had no stuff, and I had this internal building. And when I tell you that the world around me felt different, responded different, acted different when I had this stuff on the inside, right? Resilience, you know, retention, all of these things, and all of the benefits that come from, choosing retention. And so another profound truth that I got from this, like I said, was the energy don't lie. So you ain't fooling nobody. And nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? Nobody truly really cares. Like, if I choose to mess up my streak, if I choose to fail, if I choose to fall off, if I choose to sneak off and do this, do that, whatever the case may be, I'm the one giving them my value, right? I'm the one giving them my value for low grade experiences. I'm the one who giving up my value for a quick instant gratification. And that's going to be reflected. Another thing I want to talk about too is like how we project. I've always had like an issue with people projecting, or people stealing energy, or people pushing their problems on you. Like if you're in a gym and you getting it in, you doing your 1-2, you focused on what you got to do. You ain't trying to be better than nobody. You just trying to do what you got to do for yourself, right? And you got dudes who ain't focused on their things. They ain't doing what they supposed to do, and they trying to be competitive with you and messing with you and all in the way and trying to talk, and you know what I'm saying? And I always get irritated with that. You know what I'm saying? But I start to realize, I've been realizing, whenever I would edge to the site, because I wouldn't release, but I just got into this thing of sometimes edging to the site, or sometimes, whatever, or dealing with low tier women that I shouldn't be dealing with. And so when I would do this, at first, I didn't know this at the beginning. Like the next couple of days, like I would always like get more annoyed by stuff that other people was doing. And I would feel like they were like picking on me or making my life more difficult or whatever they was doing. And in some instances, people were, right? But what I realized over time is that I'm projecting outwardly. I'm projecting my guilt and my shame. And just because like I'm doing SR or whatever I'm doing, or I'm on a certain journey, my ego is attempting to trick me to believe that since I'm practicing these tasks, that like I'm superior or I'm above and beyond this level of projection. And what I've realized is that I'm doing the same thing that I'm upset with, right? Like I'm acting out the same things that I'm annoyed with other people, right? Like the little YNs who, they see me, doing my boxing and doing my MMA, and they, feel some way at the park, whatever, and they pick and whatever the case may be. And I'm annoyed because I've been listening to this and listening to that, and I got some of that in me, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, they be doing too much, but it's also me. You see what I'm saying? It's also me. There's a a brokenness in me that sees the brokenness in them, and I don't like it in me, so I'm pointing it out in them in a way. But I'm able to see that when other people do that to me, but I hadn't realized it took a long time of downloads and being on SR and continuing in my journey to kind of see like, bro, you doing the same thing. Like you're being the same way. The same things that make you laugh will make you cry, right? You're projecting the same things that you just doing it at a different level, right? And that's what I began to notice. Like it's either some of the things that you're trying to kill in yourself, you despise in others so much because you're fighting. Like I remember when I was and I did really well with this actually when I used to, if you know, I used to work for a community outreach director, faith-based organization, and everybody was growing around us, and we were all rocking with the Christian faith and all that. And sometimes certain people would just have such strong stances on certain things, and they were right about those certain things. Like they were right to have those stances, but it would become a level of self-righteousness. But for them, really, it was two mechanisms happening at once: projection and protection. Those things that they were challenging were things that they struggled with themselves, and me as well. I struggled with as well. And so we would attack it. One, projecting it outwardly, but also trying to protect ourselves from it, because those were things that we were afraid that would conquer us, right? And I used to kind of get annoyed a little bit then because other people were at different levels in their journey. Other people were at higher levels where they didn't wrestle with these things, or they didn't feel the need to flex off and be like, yo, I know, this scripture, that scripture. They wasn't bouncing it around trying to show, what I'm saying, all they ain't had a spiritual AK, rah, 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 giving everybody gas, giving everybody smoke. They wasn't stepping like that. You know what I'm saying? They was just chilling and living and just showing love. You get what I'm saying? And then if an opportunity presented itself, you get what I'm saying? Then they do their little one too. And I'm learning more and more as I grow on this journey. Okay, you can't control nobody else. So you need to be checking yourself. Like you need to be stepping on Sean. Like you need to be, don't worry about killing anything in nobody else. You need to kill all these things in your desire to want to eat this, or feel like, oh, I worked hard for this week, man. I don't want to eat no rice and beans. I don't want to eat no oatmeal. You know what I'm saying? I want me a fun meal. You get what I'm saying? But you want you a fun meal, or do you want to save up for the next spot? Are you trying to get to the next level, or are you trying to have a fun meal and another fun meal? Are you trying to appease the now, or you know what I'm saying? And so that's all I got, man, day 4. I hope this video helps somebody, man. Salute to everybody that's gaming out there. Yeah, man, that's it. Peace.